Hello everyone. Let's solve the next question. Find the root of cos x is equal to x e power x correct to 3 decimals using bisection method. So in the previous 3 videos we have seen how to solve questions using bisection method. I would request you to have a look on those 3 videos before we solve the questions. Okay. So coming back to the question, f of x is cos x minus x e power x, right? Cos x, we send this term to the left hand side. So cos x minus x e power x is f of x. So in bisection method we have to find out two numbers a and b such that f of a into f of b will be less than 0. F of a times f of b will be less than 0. If at all you know a number, let's say x, when you substitute the x, if it is giving us 0, what does this mean? This means that x is a root, right? But we will find out two numbers a and b where this gives us less than 0, this gives us greater than 0. That means we are aware that the root lies between a and b. What we do next? We just divide the interval. Okay, we find the middle value a plus b by 2, and then we see if the root is between this half or this half. Let's say the root is between this half. Then we keep shrinking the interval further and find out the root. So that is how we do using bisection method. So now let's draw a table. Okay, so we'll be having x here and f of x here. So let's say x value is minus 1. What is f of minus 1? Cos minus 1 minus minus 1 e power minus 1. So it would be 1.367. Just one small note here that we should change the mode to radians in some of our calculators. By default it might be angle. So for the correct results we have to change it to radians while we are solving the questions. So let's substitute 0 now. So f of 0 is 1. Let's substitute 1 now. F of 1 is minus 1.71. Okay. So now we got two numbers, right? F of a, f of b. F of a into f of b is less than 0, right? F of 0 into f of 1 is less than 0. Correct? One is positive, other is negative, and multiplication of both of them is negative, which is less than 0. So now we know that the root lies between 0 and 1. So now let's draw the table. So we'll be having I here. We will be having interval a comma b, then xi, which is a plus b by 2, and then we'll be having f of xi. Now first step, we know that the interval is 0 and 1. Okay, so this was giving us greater than 0 and this was giving us less than 0. And now what is xi? 0 plus 1 by 2, right? Xi is 0 plus 1 by 2, which is 0.5. Now what is f of 0.5? It's 0.1756, which is greater than 0. So in the previous questions, if you watch my previous videos, we have seen that in the next interval, this middle value we will for sure include. So since this middle value is giving us greater than 0, so we will take less than 0 from our previous interval. If this was giving us less than 0, we will take greater than 0 from our previous interval. Okay. So this is giving us greater than 0, right? 0.5 is giving us greater than 0. So we will take something which was giving us less than 0 in the previous interval, which is 1. So next interval would be 0.5 comma 1. So now we have further shrinked the interval. Previously we knew that our root is between 0 and 1. Now we are shrinking. Now the root would be between 0.5 and 1. Okay. Now xi is 0.5 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 0.75. What is f of 0.75? It's minus 0.58. This is less than 0. So here if you notice, this is giving us greater than 0, this was giving us less than 0. And now the newer middle value is giving us again lesser than 0. So we'll include this, we'll include 0.75, and this was giving us less than 0, right? So in previous interval we'll take which is giving us greater than 0. So it's 0.5. Now our next root lies between 0.5 and 0.75. So this is 3, third step, right? So it will be x3. So here it should be x1, x2, x3. Now what is x3? 0.5 plus 0.75 by 2, it's 0.625. F of 0.625 is minus 0.16, which is again less than 0. Okay, so this is greater than 0, this is less than 0. Newer value is giving us less than 0. So 0.625 is giving us less than 0. So we will take which was giving us greater than 0 from previous interval, right? So 0.5 comma 0.625 will be our next interval. So x4 is 0.5 plus 0.625 divided by 2. So which is 0.5625. Now f of 0.5625 is minus 0.14. This is again less than 0. So if that is less than 0, we will take which is giving us greater than 0 from the previous interval, right? 0.5 comma 0.5625. Now what is x5? 0.5 plus 0.5625 divided by 2. So this will give us 0.53125. So f of 0.53125 is minus 0.04, which is less than 0 again. Okay, so here I did a small mistake, that is we have to actually round to 3 decimals. I have written the entire value. So I think it would be good if we round, we'll get the answer more quickly. But anyways, I am continuing. So this is less than 0, right? So this was giving us greater than 0, this was giving us less than 0. The middle value will definitely include 0.53125. Since this is less than 0, we'll take something which was giving us greater than 0 from the previous interval, 0.5 comma 0.53125. Okay, and now what is x6? When we divide these two, when we add 0.5 plus 0.53125 divided by 2, we are going to get 0.5155. So let's round it to 3 decimals from now. So it's nothing but 0.516, right? Now f of 0.516 is 0.0053, which is greater than 0 now. Okay, now 7th step. So this was greater than 0, this is less than 0. Now if we have something greater than 0, we'll definitely include this, but since this is giving greater than 0, we will take less than 0 value from our previous interval. So in the previous interval, this was giving us less than 0, right? So we'll include that and this. So 0.516 comma 0.531. I'm just taking 3 decimals. Now what is x7? So 0.516 plus 0.531 divided by 2. So this is 0.5235, but since we are rounding to 3 decimals, it's nothing but 0.524. Let's stick to that. So f of 0.524 gives us minus 0.01, which is less than 0. Now this was giving us greater than 0, this was giving us less than 0. Since this is giving us less than 0, now the middle value is giving us less than 0, we will take greater than 0 from the previous interval and this one. Okay, greater than 0 from the previous interval is 0.516 and this value is 0.524. So now our root lies between 0.516 and 0.524. So 0.516 plus 0.524 divided by 2 is 0.520. Okay, now f of 0.520 is minus 0.006, which is less than 0. So this was greater than 0, this is less than 0, and this is again middle value is also giving us less than 0. So what we will do, we will take this value for sure, 0.520, and we'll include whatever was greater, giving us greater than 0 in the previous interval, right? So 0.516. So 0.516 comma 0.520. Now x9 is 0.516 plus 0.520 divided by 2, which is 0.518. Now f of 0.518 is minus 0.0007, which is less than 0. But one thing to notice here is for 3 decimals it's 0 only, right? 0.000 is nothing but 0. If some value f of x is giving us 0, that means this x is the root. So this is giving us 0, rounding to 3 decimals. So we can say that 0.518 is the root of cos x minus x e power x. So either this value approximately becoming 0 will give us the root, or if we notice that x8, x9, x10, if the values are same, then also we can say that this is the root. Okay, either ways. So in the previous question, if we notice, here the values were minus 2.707, minus 2.707. So the values are, almost they're same. So we can say this is the root. Or if f of that value is giving us 0, then also we can say this is the root in bisection method. So 0.518 is the root of cos x minus x e power x. So the previous question that I have shown is in the previous video. Okay, thank you. See you in the next video. Please subscribe and share it with your friends if you find this helpful. Thank you.